Illegal armed forces fired artillery and mortars at the village of the Novoluhanske. The shells fell directly in the residential sector. A local resident died in his own yard. The man was just in the garage near the house.
He worked there, he had a car there, or repaired it, or whatever he was doing there.
Another woman had a concussion, although the shell of the militants exploded just outside the window of her house.
I heard an explosion sitting on this couch. It was just deafening, it was confusing. Then the second explosion. I ran out onto the terrace knowing I had to save myself. And this is what I saw today.
Miraculously, Rita's granddaughter was not injured. Usually at this time the girl makes preps for lessons using this table. This is my daughter's desk, and thank God she was in another apartment at that time. Usually she sits, reads, writes at this table. Imagine what would have happened to her. After the shelling, Novoluhanske was partially left without gas, electricity, water and heating. Communications were cut off by frags. We check where the holes are, turn off the gas, going to weld the holes. Ukrainian servicemen are sure fighters intentionally targeted civilians of Novoluhanske. Judging by the fact that they hit the village, they targeted specifically, because the village is located at a considerable distance from the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces, so there was no possibility to miss. Moreover, according to intelligence, representatives of illegal armed groups have already been firing from points located in the residential sector. It is well known that our servicemen will not fire in response to avoid casualties. Reported by Alexander Makhov for UATV News. Illegal armed formations have been continuously shelling Lugansk thermal power plant for the second day in a row. It is the largest producer of electricity in the Luhansk region and the only producer of thermal energy in the town of Shchastia in the east of Ukraine. Strategic enterprises and critical infrastructure facilities, including schools, kindergartens, medical institutions, all depend on the power station, and it provides heat and electricity to the local residents. Locals have been hiding in basements for several days. Yesterday, the city was left without electricity, heat and water supply due to the shelling by Russian-backed forces. Today at 11 a.m. electricity was resumed. As a result of shelling, there are victims among the local population. One of the residents said that his wife was thrown away by the blast during the shelling. 2 hours after the power supply was restored, Lugansk thermal power plant came under fire again. To remind, on Monday the town was left without electricity for almost 22 hours.
Here you can see a shell hit the kindergarten window. We immediately close the kindergarten. Until the situation stabilizes, we will not open. This is a very big responsibility. That's how we live in the basement in total darkness. Someone comes with a candle, someone with a flashlight.
It is time to impose tough sanctions against the Russian Federation. This was stated by the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, in his video address from Washington. Currently, Ukraine convenes all possible formats, international meetings, insists on holding summits using all international mechanisms available to deter Russia. We are now focused on the key issue to make the decisions necessary to deter Russia. I had several telephone conversations today with the Secretary of State, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Head of Foreign Affairs of the European Union. The key topic was sanctions. This is nothing to hide. At present, the main thing is when and what sanctions against Russia will be imposed.
На тлі продовження агресії Російської Федерації.
Estonian President Karis is visiting Ukraine today amid continuing Russian aggression. Estonia is unwavering in its support, stated the president during the joint press with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
We stand united with Ukraine. We will not walk away. We will continue to support you in every possible way. Russia must end the intolerable provocations, stop fueling the conflict which has been ongoing for 8 years.
Volodymyr Zelensky noted that the support of world leaders is crucial for Ukraine now. Some countries are taking their diplomats out, while others are bringing in real help. Ukrainian president thanked the Estonian government for Javelin previously supplied to the country and a modern military field hospital. He also stressed the importance of a swift reaction to the legal escalation by Russia as quickly as possible.
We agreed on the need of immediate sanctions for another act of aggression against Ukraine. These sanctions should include a complete stop of Nord Stream 2. Ukraine is very grateful for Estonia's decision to hand over certain weaponry. This is a very important contribution to improving Ukraine's defense capabilities.
Estonian President Alar-Karis noted today European leaders are preparing a package of sanctions against Russia over President Putin's decision to recognize the independence of uncontrolled areas of Donetsk and Luhansk regions. He also called on the president of the aggressor country to immediately withdraw troops from the Ukrainian borders. He also stressed that NATO's door to Ukraine remains open.
But most importantly, we must keep the door for EU and NATO open for Ukraine. And we must have concrete next steps for further cooperation and integration.
As of reminder, the day before the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, recognized sovereignty of Russia-backed separatist entities that control parts of Ukrainian Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Today, the State Duma ratified the document named the Treaty of Friendship, Cooperation and Mutual Assistance between Russia and Ukraine's non-government control areas, reported by Ksenia Bugay, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.
Rally against the war. Belarus diaspora representatives came out to the building of Consulate General of Russia in Lviv. Placards are saying Putin to stop shelling in Donbas and withdraw Russian troops from the territory of Ukraine and Belarus. In addition, it became known that starting today the diplomatic mission is no more in service, as it ceased appointments and even cut off the communications, allegedly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as a temporary overhaul of the consular staff. Hands off Belarus. Hands off Ukraine. We are against the use of the illegitimate Lukashenko to drag Belarus into the war that Russia is waging against Ukraine. Therefore, we are here to deliver an official appeal from the Belarusians that we are against the war, against the presence of Russian troops and against Belarus being dragged into any military actions. We are expressing our opinion. We believe that what is happening now on the borders of Ukraine, on the part of Russia, of Belarus, with the build-up of Russian troops, we are against it. It should not be like this. It is not logical aggression, imperialist aspirations. From words to actions, Nord Stream 2 certification is suspended after Russia formally recognized government-uncontrolled Donbas areas as sovereign entities. Russian-backed project gas pipeline designed to deliver energy supplies to Germany has been suspended due to the decision of the Energy Ministry to withdraw the report on the analysis of supply guarantees from German regulator. According to a German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, decision that might seem technical effectively puts a halt to the Nord Stream 2 project. This is undertaken as a part of sanctions in response to the Vladimir Putin's undermining Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Und ohne diese Zertifizierung kann Nord Stream 2 ja nicht in Betrieb gehen.
Without this certification, Nord Stream 2 can't become operational. The Russian president's decision to recognize the so-called People's Republics of Luhansk and Donetsk on Monday is a serious violation of international law. By doing so, President Putin does not just violate Minsk agreements, which he himself signed in 2014 and 2015. He also does away with the basic principles as outlined in the United Nations Charter on the Peaceful Coexistence of Peoples. Russia has recognized DPR and LPR. It made it to do very quickly, so the response has to be the same quick. Yesterday I had talks with President Macron, Chancellor Scholz, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Duda and Mr. Biden. I believe they are to show a very quick support. As of today, this will be the most severe package of sanctions in support of Ukraine. National joint stock company Nafta of Ukraine is demanding $10 billion from Russia as compensation for the seizure of company's investments in Crimea. Nafta hopes to collect these funds from the aggressor country through the arbitration tribunal in The Hague. The court has already started the hearing. The assessment of damages in court was presented by reputable international experts. Nafta expects that the arbitral award in this case will be made early next year, said Yuri Vitrenko, chairman of the board of the company, on his Facebook page. Our strategically important energy investments became one of the main targets of the Russian Federation during the occupation of the Ukrainian peninsula in 2014. Russia has illegally appropriated Ukrainian Crimea and has been using what belongs to Ukrainians for 8 years, including the national company Nafta. These include fields, drilling rigs, underground storage facilities, ships, the gas transportation system, and many other facilities that we cannot use all this time. Yuri Vitrenko, chairman of the board of Nafta of Ukraine, on Facebook.